Good afternoon, everyone, or evening. This is Auburn School Building Committee meeting for August 12th, 7 o'clock. I'd like to open it with a Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being recorded for broadcast and stuff. Ask if anybody else is recording the meeting. Okay, none. Next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Seeing none, move on to the next item, which is approval of the meeting minutes from the last meeting. They're in the packages that were sent out and stuff, and before you. I'd entertain a motion to approve. Yep.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, I do have a question on it.
Okay.
On the payments here on the back page, there's two that I just like the explanation as why we've got two there. That Mr. Fontaine Brothers and Briggs Engineering for the $9,787. I went back and looked at my notes. I only could find one invoice, so I didn't know if there was something going on between Fontaine and Briggs, and we were kind of, one was a catch-up.
No, that's that was a typo error because the actual Fontaine application number 3 was for $1,310,127.98. So we'll have to have that corrected.
So that 9,787 is going up to $1 million something.
1,310,127.98.
Okay.
and 98 cents.
Typo.
We'll have to amend that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, so if we want to approve it, having a motion based on the amendment on this to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Mr. Fahey makes a motion to approve with the adjustments. Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any other comments, concerns, questions? All right, if not, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's approved as amended. Next item up is some general updates. Skanska is up first.
Just wanted to give you a brief update on the project. Presently, all the classroom wings, concrete has been poured and finished. The south wing framing and sheathing has been installed. The north wing framing has started and temporary site power has been installed. Some roadway curbing installation has been going on, and paving bonding course has been installed. And approximately 75% of the steel has also been erected for the building. Plumbing and electrical piping has also been installed. With the West Street update, VHB has been moving forward. They have met with Mass DOT. DOT has commented that they don't believe there's going to be any construction requirements or changes to the intersection. VHB is scheduled to have their 25% drawings complete this Friday. They are scheduled to give that to the town of Auburn for review. The town will have 30 days for that review, at which point they will finalize those 25% drawings, and Skanska will start the appraisal process for the land takings out on West Street. Also, everyone should have a little map in front of them like this. For the right orientation, it would be the bottom right corner, or I'm sorry, the bottom left corner, the railroad bridge. We've signified where that is on the property. I know you had discussed this at the last school building department meeting. What you're seeing there is the location, the approximate location of where that railroad bridge is located, and then you see a red dotted line. That is where we're proposing to extend the fence that is already a part of the project, to close off that area to help limit access to that site. That's something we wanted to bring ahead of you guys, that you be aware of it. If it's something that you would like us to pursue, we would go ahead and price that change.
Is that the 4-foot fence you were talking about?
Correct.
Okay.
Approximately how many feet is that?
I think it's about 120.
120? And the fence exists at the football field, correct?
Correct. You've got it at the
Part of it.
football field, and you've also got it coming down the exit roadway.
Right.
So that one little area is where fence is not presently in the project scope.
120, yeah.
I think you last discussed an additional fence actually coming all the way up the property, and that was our proposal of trying to cut down on cost, and
So has this
Not
been
doubling
repriced?
we have not priced it yet.
Okay.
Wanted to get your opinion if that's something that you wanted us to proceed with.
Chair, is this gonna tail into the woods, or is it just gonna end right there? The
What-
fence, is it gonna end just right there, or is it gonna tail back into the woods?
The fence actually connects to the existing fence that's going to be installed around the
Correct,
the,
I
field.
understand that with the football field, but on the far end, towards where the gate is for the access road, is that gonna just end right there, or is it gonna more or less do an L?
It adjoins a fence that's already coming down the roadway.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, is
Yes,
this
sir.
the subject we were discussing in the minutes? The water district has no intention of putting up a fence, or is this
Yeah.
another fence?
No, this is the same one. I think at that time we were looking at a 6 or an 8-foot fence and stuff, and they're looking at some longer distances and stuff. I think after looking at it and hearing some of the comments and stuff, they came back looking at just connecting what was already proposed on the project to the ball field fence.
The next sentence is proposed making a final decision after our visit, so we're making a final decision tonight. Is that? what
Well,
I'm
I
hearing?
think that if that's the way we want them to go and have them
Okay.
price it and stuff, that, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions on that? So, I mean, I think you've already given us a price on the
Yeah, the
higher end
existing
options and
6
stuff,
feet.
so you might as well get the pricing for this.
Okay,
so
we'll
we
proceed
can-
with that.
Okay. Next up is Lamro Pagano's update. Eric Moore.
Don't have too much to report. We have been doing ongoing construction administration. We've been seeing a lot of submittals come through and reviewing those and answering RFIs, requests for information. The coordination process, as you saw with the BIM model, has been about 95% complete at this point. So most of the issues have been worked out there. We have FF&E and technology process that will pick up again in September and October when the teachers are back from the summer vacation, and we'll be starting to refine the list of equipment and technology items that need to be purchased. We've ordered some additional samples, so we'll have samples being delivered to the additional samples delivered to the existing middle school to kind of supplement what's already there. We've been working with the ongoing mass chips documentation. So all of the submittals that are coming in have been, we're reviewing them for things like recycled content, VOC content, to make sure that they comply, and that all ties in, again, to your 2% additional reimbursement from the state for this mass chips element of the project. For our next meeting, we plan to have color boards in front of you that kind of detail the overall color schemes in the building. Fontaine has been submitting samples of materials, interior finishes, things like ceramic tile and flooring and paint and other materials. And now that we actually have those samples, we can select the final colors and put them together on boards, and we'll be before you at, we think, the next meeting for that presentation. I guess the last thing I have, we have a meeting tomorrow to review. I don't know if everybody saw it, but as we walked back in, there was a mock-up, small brick and precast piece of wall. So that's being constructed for a couple of reasons. One is it has the actual brick that's specified, and the precast and the color, and it's one of the things that it defines the level of quality. So once that's all finished and it's been washed and the mortar's dried out and everything, we review that, and that will remain as kind of a level of quality for the construction as it goes forward. But the other important reason is that we're actually putting windows in and testing those windows. So we test them for air leakage and water leakage before the actual installation of windows starts on the actual building itself. And the idea is that we identify any problems with installation, any of the tie-ins between the air vapor barrier and the windows, those sort of details that need to get addressed before we get 150 windows in and find out there's a problem. So it's a way of ensuring that things go smoothly during the window installation process. And the windows in the building also get tested, so it's not just these windows here. And I think we also have some change orders to discuss, but that pretty much concludes
Okay.
my report.
Come back to those. All right, next updates from Fontaine Construction then. I already saw the BIM part of it.
All right,
Walkthrough
so
before.
this is more of kind of a look ahead. I know Paul touched on a lot of the stuff that's already going on out there. We have a lot of concrete pours coming up. There's going to be one tomorrow that's essentially the media center, and then a couple of the sets of stairs. We're going to be pouring the pans, and then our next big one is going to be the gym next Wednesday. So that's kind of a milestone pour for us. The exterior masonry is going to start the week of the 25th. It's another big one, just helping us get the building enclosed. The structural steel, you just saw when we walked around, there's kind of that gap missing. The next big delivery actually comes tomorrow morning for that area, so we'll start swinging that. Hopefully, depending on what the monsoon does, we'll see what happens. Stairs are all ongoing, as you can see out there. They're starting to sheathe the classroom wings. They're just continuing to frame, working their way around. You can kind of see the progress on that. The roofing has started at the gym. The goal there is there's some large ductwork that goes into the ceiling of the gym. That'll be a lot easier if we get that in before we build the walls. So if we can get the roof weather tight and get that stuff up under there, it'll just make everybody's life a lot easier. So that is ongoing now. And then the mechanical, plumbing, and electrical, they're all starting their rough in throughout the building. As we walked around, you can see a lot of the sleeves are in. You can actually see some pipe is in there. The plumber's starting to work on his roof drains. And the electrician has all the temp lights and everything going. So that's the high point schedule-wise. Anybody have any questions? All right. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. All right, next item's up, review and approval of invoices and changes. So I guess building project, we have a bunch of change orders in here and stuff. Paul, you going through those?
Yeah, I wanted to, you got, in the past, you had mentioned that you wanted to see a little bit better idea or get a better grasp of what was going on change order-wise in the project and how we're tracking all the different items. So what Skanska has done is we've created this. These 3 pages that you'll see, the first one kind of has a cream color to it. This is Fontaine's GMP contingency, the contingency that they have in their contract, and we're tracking it in 3 different ways. Well, actually, the first one group of things is their allowances. These are money set aside in their contract, like for the trenching or rock and things like that. So that's just how we're following or tracking how that money's being spent. The second group that you're seeing are change order requests or pending approval. And you'll see how we're tracking it date-wise, where it goes from the general or from Fontaine through approval or review and approval of the architect and the OPM and then the district. And if you remember, you approved anything that's $20,000 or less, we can usually send to Mark. He can get his comments and stuff, and as long as everything seems to be kosher with him, we can proceed with that work. Anything $20,000 or over, which we highlight in red, needs to come in front of you for your approval. So you'll see where we've got 2 columns, approval by the district and then approval by the school building committee. And either it's applicable or not applicable, and we track it that way. And then the third column you'll see is every change order that's already been approved that's being applied to Fontaine's contingency. And then the last, you'll see a little bottom part where we just kind of sum everything up for you, where their original GM contingency was the 1.169. How much is the change orders that have been approved, how much those total, which is the 62, and then it shows you about what they have left in their contingency is 1.1. And then we also just do it as a proposed or pending approvals, just so you can see what would happen if all of those also got approved, what would happen to their contingency. And we do the same thing also with the owner's contingency, which is your second page in blue. The only difference there is we don't have an allowance that we're tracking with Fontaine. And again, the same process, again, in highlighting the items in red that we cannot get approval through Mark, that we need to come in front of you guys to get your review and approval before we can proceed with that. And then your third page looks like this. And that is just a summary sheet, which makes it very easy for you to look at. It wraps everything up from the 2 different logs, the Fontaine contingency and the owner contingency. And then we've also put in there a construction budget, just so you can see where we're at with a total construction cost. And then approved change order analysis, where we are comparing, per MSBA's request, we actually compare this project to other projects on the amount of contingencies and how, that shakes out. And with these 2 change order logs, the first one is Fontaine GMP contingency. We have a change order request number 27, which is a credit for buyout and scope holds. It is a credit for $23,833. The backup is a part of your packet. And this is for irrigation package savings, cost savings that they were able to secure. Also for rolling door or grill package cost savings, and the elevator package cost savings, which total to $23,833. So that would be the first thing I think you would need to review and approve to take money back.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is an excellent sheet, should be complimented. But I'll bet you Dale had something about it, huh?
No, he was gone last week on vacation, so I'll take it.
Now, this is, wow, this is great. It's a change order management law.
All right, so the first one we need to act on is the COR 27 for the...
Correct. And as you'll note, that
Buyout.
these cost savings per the contract actually goes back into Fontaine's contingency. So it increases their contingency.
Any questions or entertain a motion to approve? Discuss?
The first one?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve change order number 027, credit for buyout and scope holds in the amount of, credit that is, $23,833.
Second? Mr. Sampson, okay. Any questions, discussions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's approved.
Taken in order that we
Well,
have them here. Why not do this one, the next?
Let Paul go through the
File.
description
Next
of it and
one.
stuff, and then we can,
Then we have the 3 remaining ones in the owner construction contingency. Those 2 are also highlighted in red. The first one's change order request number 17, which deals with the changing of the VCT to linoleum. Number 18 is changing of doors to acoustical doors. And then number 26 is a credit for buyout and scope holds. The reason this is not actually going back into Fontaine's contingency is when the amendments were drawn up, Fontaine wrote in there that any of the cost savings for these packages would go back to the owner. Probably the first one would be, number 26 would be the easiest.
26 first.
This one's for millwork package cost savings. There is added cost for using Chandler. After GVW dropped out, we had discussed that months back when we had to go with the second lowest bid. We knew
What
there'd be
trade
a
was
cost
that?
impact.
Windows, yeah, okay.
And then you also had a skylight cost savings package totaling $73,309. The athletic wood floor package, a credit of $20,600. And then you have the early release scope that's carried. It's an amendment to the GMP. It's for site work and concrete. There was extra funds that were carried for the ball field, correct? And so that money was being credited back to the owner totaling $166,000. So when you add all of these back, you're looking at a credit of $233,455.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve change order request number 026 in the amount of $233,455.
Credit.
Credit.
Credit amount.
What did I say?
You said in the amount of.
Oh.
But it's the credit amount.
It says-
Second, Mr. Sampson, questions, comments, concerns? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It's approved.
And your next one would be change order request number 17, which is the changing of the VCT to linoleum. I think I wasn't here for your last school building committee. I believe you did discuss this item? Or-
We did,
okay.
and I think we should note the reduction in price. Can't find her. Oops, I don't have that. Do you remember what the original was that we looked at last month for that amount? Just to remind people where we were.
I just wanted to touch on a few things on this change order proposal. I don't believe, Mark, the price has actually changed. It's neither gone down or increased.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I guess it is the
It
same.
stayed
Okay.
the same. The acoustic door, we have gone back through that one, and there are some revisions to that. But I just wanted to comment, however you choose to decide on this, I just wanted to make a few comments relative to the, our thinking in terms of the choice of flooring material. We had specified VCT partly as a result of our VE process at the schematic design phase. If you remember that we were we were at a point there where we exceeded the project budget. We had to go back to MSBA. We were looking for ways to economize, and had we had the budget, I think we probably would have gone to another flooring, something other than vinyl composition tile, either a rubber or a linoleum product, if the budget had allowed. There was a question at the last meeting about the service life of one versus the other. The VCT has a service life of 25 years. The linoleum has a service life of 40 years. Both require regular maintenance. There's no immunity from that, but the regular maintenance with VCT is a little more robust, I would say. There's more frequent waxing, polishing required, because it relies on a protective surface layer. You know, you have to build up, even initially, you have to put 5 to 7 coats of wax and polish on vinyl tile before you can use it. And you're relying on maintaining that thickness. And that's a labor-intensive process. The process with the maintenance process with linoleum is it's more of a wet wet mop or machine cleaning with a kind of a neutral pH cleaner, and that's pretty much it. If over time, you know, number of years, you start to see a little wear on the surface, it can be restored. There is a process for that, but the maintenance, while it still has maintenance, the maintenance it does not use the chemicals and harsh chemicals that are used with vinyl tile. There was a question about the cost of this. Is it a fair cost? And one of the things that's important to point out, and the last point I would make, is that linoleum takes much longer to install than vinyl composition tile. It's a case where it comes in sheets. It needs to be the seams need to be welded, chemically welded together, whereas with vinyl composition tile, it's basically put down the adhesive and lay down the tiles in place. It moves along much faster. Although it takes longer to install, this cost proposal was based on maintaining the same accelerated schedule as was originally set by Fontaine Brothers. So they had a given amount of time to install the VCT flooring, and when they asked for the price for the upcharge to linoleum, they told the Resilient trade contractor, you have to maintain that same time frame. You can't take longer. You have to man the job on weekends or overtime or whatever it takes to get that job done in the same accelerated time period. So, you know, when you look at the costs, yes, the costs are slightly higher than what you might see if you bid it on a project that didn't have a accelerated time frame. But it's we feel, you know, over the lifespan of this building and the service life of the flooring, you know, over time you're probably gonna see a benefit. You're gonna see a cost benefit and a comfort benefit in with the linoleum, and that would be our recommendation to go with the linoleum if you can.
Chairman, Eric, I notice here we're deleting the resilient base of 63,000 that was along with the VCT. This marmoleum, is that coving the base?
No, that what they mean by that base, they don't mean the vinyl base around the edge, the coved base that you're speaking of. What they mean, we were given two scenarios, one for the corridors and the classrooms, and the other for the cafeteria and faculty dining area. So you got two separate pricing for that. They were referring to just a base bid scenario, not actually deleting.
So we still have co-base?
You'd still have the 4-inch vinyl coped base. Are there any questions?
I do have one question. On the, it excludes moisture mitigation. How much of this do we actually have on the slab on grade? I know we
You've
run
got a
into...
total of about 65,000 square feet. Most of it, it might be split about slightly on the slab on grade, but the fact that it excludes moisture mitigation should not be a factor, because Fontaine has carried an allowance for moisture
So
mitigation
we are going
to
to
cover
look at
resilient
that. That was my question.
throughout the
really.
building.
Okay.
Actually, in the amount of all the resilient flooring, all the carpeting is covered there. So that cost for moisture mitigation is built
It's
into
already
the
in.
project.
Perfect.
Excuse me. Is that yours or is it yours?
So Paul, Skanska's reviewed the pricing and
Yes,
agrees that
Yes.
it's reasonable?
yes, we do.
Okay.
I also did some pricing, and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 to $6 more per square foot. And if you divide 65,000 into the number, it's 5 1/4. It's well within the ballpark.
Any other questions? Concerns?
No?
All right,
No more questions. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve change order request number 017, changing VCT to linoleum in the amount of $343,537.08.
okay, we have a motion, do we have a second? Hey, Joe, all right, any other comments, concerns, questions? All right, all those in favor of approving change order request 17 to change VCT to linoleum? All those in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's approved.
Okay. And the last change order request, number 18, is the change in the doors for acoustical purposes. And again, Skanska and LPA have reviewed these costs and agree they are reasonable.
Now, this one has gone down since the last time we saw it.
Yes.
I believe it was in the $80,000 range.
A different manufacturer and system was estimated or priced out.
Does anybody need to re-review, have the architect talk about this one, or you remember it from last time? All right.
Which doors typically require an STC rating of 47? The 22 doors?
I couldn't hear you, I apologize.
Which door,
what
of the
typically-
he's got the 22 doors at the STC 47?
So
Ratings?
there's a total of
It's
92 doors that are impacted.
Right.
22 of them are communicating doors between
Between the
classrooms.
classrooms.
That's between
And
the
those are
classrooms.
the ones that have the
Those are-
highest
right,
sound
okay,
rating.
all right. 'Cause it's about $2,000 a door. 2,900, so. That's it. The math teacher doesn't want to hear what the geography teacher says.
Well, that's the total quote. The upcharge is the 33, the second page. That's 33 to 220. All right.
All right.
Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve change order request number 018R1 in the amount of $55,400.26.
We have a second. Joe, okay. Questions, comments, concerns?
This increases our points?
Oh, no, this
Or
is,
just
this is,
because we're doing it, we keep the points.
Right, these are prerequisites on the mass chips, if I remember right from Eric's
Glad to get
presentation
extra
last week.
points.
If we don't do it, we're gonna lose the chip points and we could lose some of the state funding, so, unfortunately. So, any other comments, questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? It's approved. Okay. Next item up is everybody's favorite, going through all the invoices. Reviewing, approving these. First up, we got a Skanska invoice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Skanska's invoice number 1311838, PDS 12170-29, dated 8/4/14, in the amount of $42,100.
We have a second. Mr. Sampson, okay. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? That's approved. Next is Lymar Pagano.
Mr. Chairman, a very important one. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the invoice of Lymar and Pagano, number 1207-1407, dated 7/31/14, in the amount of $51,158.63.
And do we have a second? All right. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Huh? Oh, approved. That one's approved, okay. Next is the Fontaine Construction application number 4.
You don't have to ask if it's signed.
Oh, we have a signed executed copy, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Fontaine Brothers, Inc., application number 4, dated July 31st, 2014, in the amount of $1,998,470.21.
And do we have a second? Mr. Murray? All right. I know it sounds like a big number, but if you look on the
That's round number.
continuation sheet, next one down, we're only at 20% right now, and that's from the walkout there. I mean, work is
Yeah.
progressing along pretty well out there, so it's looking good. So, any other questions, concerns, comments on this? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of
Aye.
paying it, application number 4? Aye? Aye. All those opposed? That's approved.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Briggs Engineering and Testing invoice number 72410, dated 6/28/14, in the amount of $8,858.38.
And do we have a second? Mr. Murray, okay. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor of paying the Briggs invoice?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? That's approved. We're back to another Skanska one, which is part of the West Street development project.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Skanska relative to the West Street improvements. Invoice number 1311838-100-12171-3 dated 8/4/14 in the amount of $1,305.
And do we have a second? All right, questions, comments, concerns? Okay, if not, all those in favor of approving? Aye. All those opposed? That's approved. And the last invoice from the engineer themselves, VHB.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the invoice with VHB number 0185222 dated July 18th, 2014, in the amount of $4,053.
And we have a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Murray, okay. Questions, comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That's approved.
Yeah, I noticed.
All right. See, under other, in your packets and in your emails and everything else you've got, this Thursday, we're having the topping out party, their ceremony for the project at 10 a.m. over gathering up on off from Masonic Circle, right?
Right.
So everybody's brief ceremony, but everybody's invited. I think that's gone out to quite a few other the other boards and stuff, right?
We did.
Okay. Next meeting, fall, when?
September 16th.
16th? All right,
16th would be good.
all right, so
It'll follow the,
Tuesday the 16th at 7 p.m. here
yep.
for the next meeting. All right, any other items anybody wants to bring up, discuss, have discussed at the next meetings? No? Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn?
second?
We just started.
All right. Guess we're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.